live. Hi. I was just watching Hannah Witton. She's a beautiful young woman on YouTube here that does a channel about her life, and she gets 100,000 views. Well, that one's from last March. All right, so she was showing her stoma care bag, and I thought, well, yeah, let me show you my stoma care box. It used to be that this and this were on the shelf under the bathroom sink, and also this was under the shelf in the bathroom sink. And when we tore the bathroom apart to renovate, things got moved out. This is not a wet wipes box, actually. It's stoma liner bags. I'll show you that in a bit. And I took them out of their extremely useless dispenser boxes. They were laid flat one after another inside a plastic bag in a slim box, which I lived with for 2 years, I guess, already, before finally going, there's got to be a better way, and painstakingly taking one of those boxes and folding it up into this Cottonelle flushable wipes container. And, good idea. Excuse me while I get a chair. Hard to say whether it's because I'm fat or because I'm old, but the upshot is it hurts to stand for any length of time. So I also brought this bag out. Now, this is the bag that I keep in my backpack. It's got a few necessities for stoma emergencies while away from home. There's a couple of panty liners in case my bladder is not doing its job properly. There's some, oh my goodness, it's all run out. Used to be a small bottle of hand sanitizer. I'll have to get more. There's a handful of prepackaged wipes that can be real handy. This is kind of cool. This is a container of soap leaves. Let me see. How do I get it open? Yeah. It's called soap leaves. Each one of these is a very thin molded sheet of soap particles. And you put it on your hand. Put a little water on your hand, whether it's from a water bottle or the sink. And it quickly dissolves and turns into soap on your hands. And then you can rinse your hands off. And even at a roadside, all you need is a source of water. So that's really useful to have in my care bag. And then I've got the wafer, a pre-cut wafer. That's why the package is open. The wafer is the part that glues to the stomach. This is the part that holds everything on. It's got this really interesting medical technology paste with some regular bandage tape around the outside. And then the pouch clips on. This is a pouch. It's a mess because it's been sitting wrinkled in this bag, but I guarantee it has never been used. It's sanitary, and it's got a liner bag already in it. I put these liner bags in, and that means that when I soil the pouch, I can simply take the liner bag out thus, discard it, put another one in, and then the pouch remains usable for, until the surface starts to get dirty, basically, pilled up from my clothing or just kind of unpleasant looking. Or sometimes it'll develop an unpleasant odor, and then also I'll get rid of it. So I've got a bunch more liners. I didn't realize I had this many. A lot more liners, because those are the things that I'm most likely to be using a lot of. Those are the things that I'll use when I go to when I'm at the mall and I sense there's been activity. I will go to the bathroom and I'll change out just the liner and then just wash my hands. And I almost never get any moisture on my hands in the process. So washing my hands is pretty much just a convention for comfort's sake rather than a necessary act. But yeah, so that's my away from home on the road stoma care setup. I can with this, I can keep myself going. And I miss the hand sanitizer. I mean, I really can't justify a need for this stuff, but I'm gonna get a new one. It's psychological. So that stays in the backpack, which I hang off the back of my chair here. Now you've seen what the liners do. It's what they look like before they're used. They look like this. And I open them up and I jam my hand in there and I put it into the pouch like this. And then the clip goes through the plastic. So the pouch clips onto the wafer, pretty much the way a reusable plastic container will clip onto the body of the container. So it's really that simple. And so these dispense one at a time just perfectly because I folded them one over another so that they would pull the next one out, just like Kleenexes are done. And that's been a lot nicer for me. Now, this container here, when I was still enjoying the Red Monthly experience. Oh, I have to dust it. I'm sorry about doing the housekeeping in front of you. This is simply full of plastic bags. Oh, there's still a few panty liners in, but these are plastic bags that I've collected and or that came with the stoma bags. There's some packages of those. It's just stuffed in little plastic bags so that when I change my appliance, I can seal it into its own plastic bag before throwing it in the main trash. This just kind of keeps things a little cleaner. But because I irrigate, it's already clean. There is no feces on it anywhere. The only time there's ever any feces anymore is while I irrigate. Irrigating. This is an irrigation bag. Irrigation sleeve. This clips onto the base plate of my appliance. And then the end, and that's what this big bucket is for. It holds all these little odds and ends. It holds my squirt soap bottle. This is just some bubble bath and water. It's basically watered down soap. This I got when I had a radiation burn on my perineum, and they gave me this. And it just gives me extra force when I'm cleaning so that it can blast off debris that doesn't make its way out of, that sticks to the bag. So there's this funky clip, and it seems like, yeah, this clip. It seems like such a flimsy thing to trust your floor, because once this is on and this is clipped in place, thus, the output is extremely heavy and it can fill all the way to here. Put it this way, the horror of irrigating twice a week is less than the horror of dealing with output multiple times per day, but it is still horrifying. So what I do, because I don't trust this clip, I just don't, is I roll it up a couple of times, I stick a big old bulldog clip. Now what I've got is something that's going to dangle in a really stupid fashion, so I really can't walk anymore. Plus, I worry that the weight of it is going to pull it off. And additionally, I found that while sitting down, the weight actually would cause it to tear along here, which meant that I wound up having to launder my clothes. So that wasn't very good. This helps. This is a belt. It clips on. It clips onto these tabs on the back of the irrigation sleeve. It clips on here, and it goes around the back and onto the other side, and then you can adjust that for whatever tightness, and that helps support the weight so that the weight of the output that's in here until you rinse it out will be supported better than just the paste of the wafer. When I've emptied it and rinsed it out thoroughly into the toilet, so I've got a stool by the bathroom that I'll set this on to hold the weight, and that has solved the problem of it cracking. So what I do is I stand over the toilet with this thing clipped on. I bring this up and I undo it. And now I've got a section Now I got a section of it this long that's clean, and I take this off. And I carefully lower this into the toilet. Out goes all the flow. And then there's an opening at the top. This is how you reach your stoma in order to put water in. The opening at the top is how I'll start squirting the water to clean. I'll clean around the stoma. I'll clean around the base plate. And then I will use a pitcher of water that I either fill at the sink or currently a bucket beside the toilet to flush and rinse until this thing is clean. Then I will pin it up, so it'll be like that. I'll put the clip back on, but instead of putting the big bulldog clip, I'll pin it up like this, and so, and then I've got a small bulldog clip that I keep handy. It's not, there it is. I'll use one of these, and I'll clip it thus. And so this will be clipped with that little beige clip, and then I'm free to get up and move around the house, and if anything else is coming, it will be caught. After the final rinse, out comes the vinegar. I spray it down after I've gotten it clean enough that I see no sign of staining or debris. And if I can't get it clean, I throw it out and replace it. Once I get to that point, even just touching it, I want to wash my hands. I just get that freaked out. Even though I know it's clean, because after I've completely rinsed it, I spray it down with vinegar. And this has been really, really optimal for preventing staining and odor. I was given this in hospital to measure something. I don't remember what. I think I was supposed to pee in it, but I refused. But it does make a handy place to store my irrigation bag. And when it's hung on the wall, when the irrigation bag is hung on the wall, because it has to be hung at shoulder height. So I hang it on the wall. I've actually got a curtain. I've got a hook in the bathroom that hangs from the pipes. And I hang the bag from it, and I'll show you a clean, fresh bag because it's prettier. When it's hung up, I drape the cone part. I leave the cone part sitting in that container so that if water should leak out or if there's any dirt on the cone, it won't touch the floor. This is the irrigation bag. You fill it with water through here, and it's got a weird double fold thing that helps prevent, if you tip it, very little water will come out. You fill it up, it gives you markings. Then you've got a control valve here that allows you to set different levels. I'll show you the control valve. You can set different levels with it of open and closed. You can go all the way, but you can also go part way. So that's nice for regulating. I guess it's a regulator. It's nice for regulating your flow, the water flow. And then the stoma cone fits on here, like so. This is a soft, flexible, gentle cone shape. And you stuff it into your obscene pink stoma like that, about that far. And you turn on the water, and the water flows in, and it flows inside you just like an enema. Thing is, if you're even the least little bit tense, so you had a fight with your husband that morning, or you're worried about your finances, or you're in a hurry to get going because you've got a lot to do today, your stoma will close up. Your stoma will close up like a toddler who doesn't want to eat his peas. And then this thing just won't go in, and the water will spray out all around, and the stoma will actually retreat under your belly skin, and then your belly skin can pull away from your wafer appliance, and water will start spraying outside the bag. I had that happen last Monday. Not a happy situation. So you have to be, I don't drink my coffee before I irrigate because that makes me more, alert. So you really have to be in a good state of mind. You need to be well hydrated. You got to drink your water before you start, or your coolant will just absorb all the water you give it. So there's that. But by infusing about 700 cc's of water into my belly twice a week, I've been freed from the tyranny of having output in my bag. My bag is clean. There's no smell. There's no smell when I go to the bathroom. Other than farting, there's nothing. And if it wasn't for the farting, I could just put a Band-Aid over it and go. But because I do fart, and because if I get diarrhea from something I've eaten, it will break the rules, I continue to wear the bag and appliance. A few other accessories and things that I have here. So that's my irrigation equipment, and I'm so grateful for this. So grateful. They refused to teach me. I asked the stoma nurse, and she wouldn't talk. She said no. I said, can we talk about it? She said no. I mean, literally, she just answered me with the word no repeatedly with any attempt to inquire about irrigating. So I got online and I figured it out, and I asked my local supply store, and they ordered me in the equipment I need. So that's why I have a spare. If this thing breaks down, or I just get to the point where I can't stand the look of it, it's looking too dirty, I'll just switch it out. It's, even though you clean it, plastic gets dirty, plastic takes a stain. And even though there's never been any output in this tube, yet the tube is starting to look kind of brownish, I assume some kind of algae growth. And so when that offends my eyes, I can change it out and then order a new one and have one while I wait. Other accessories in here. I've got a little extra Band-Aid tape that I can use if my wafer's coming off and I don't have time to change it. And this box here contains my spare supplies. It contains spare wafers, spare pouches. I need to go shopping. I like to try and maintain 10 of these at any given time, because in a bad week I can go through all 5. All 4 of these could be gone through in 3 days if I have problems. These things are $5 each after my 50% discount from the government. And these things are $6 each after my 50%. Seriously, with the government paying half. So they're actually $12 a piece. And I can't tell you how offended I am by that level of profiteering. This is not $12 worth of trouble to make. It probably costs them, even with medical grade sterility in the factory, it probably costs them less than $1 a piece. But they're charging us $12. So that's one of the reasons why I try to keep these things going as long as I can. Now these liners, on the other hand, work out to about 10 cents a piece. So I go through the liners instead of going through the pouches. This is a stoma cap. I can wear it when I'm in the tub, or I can wear it if I go swimming. It's just a more compact version of, and I wash them out and reuse them for a while. If you don't have output, you can easily put one of these really short ones. This one, the unfortunate thing about it, I'm not sure I trust it swimming, is it's made by a different manufacturer, and the ring doesn't exactly match up, and so it can snap off more easily. It's not secure. And I see them all out of irrigation sleeves. I definitely need to go to the store. When I first began, the stoma was costing about $150 a month, and I think by irrigating and using the liners, I have brought it down under $50 a month, which is really important. This is an old Lush box. It used to be my face cream. But what I've done is I've put in a bunch of these cotton makeup swabs. You can see cotton makeup swabs, and then poured witch hazel distillate onto them. So I just pour that onto and then seal it up. Just stuff this box with the cotton, pour in the witch hazel, and seal it up. And then I've got a one at a time single dispensary witch hazel pad. Witch hazel soothes the rampant itching. I'm allergic to every paste going. Everything out there, I'm allergic to it. I don't think it's a chemical allergy. I think it's the result. How do I explain this? Trying to put a flat object on a round object means that the flat object has to bend. And it constantly and consistently wants to return to flat. And so it's continually exerting pressure on the round object's membrane. That is to say, I think that the appliances that I'm using, that the products I'm using, the paint, the way they glue themselves to my skin, they're constantly exerting outward pressure on my skin. And I think that is the cause of the itching, welts, and open sores that get caused. The worst I ever had was a particularly stiff Band-Aid. I'm going to bring the rest of these back. These are designed for people who irrigate. I tried two kinds. These ones actually did not cause me any discomfort, but they wrinkled up at the edges. You can actually see wrinkles already. But because they had to wrinkle to bend around my belly, the wrinkles let water in, so they're supposed to be for swimming and waterproofing. And as soon as the water got in, the block of bandage swelled this thick. It's got a high absorbency gel in it. It swelled up and the thing popped off. So I'm going to return, since these were $5 a piece. I know, right? They're taking advantage of the disabled here. I'm going to return them. The store doesn't take advantage. The companies do. The store will give me back my money as long as it's clean and undamaged. So they're in there. And then this is another type of stoma cap. This is all, it's like a vinyl sticker where you peel it off and it's sticky underneath. I'm not going to peel it because I'm returning it. And then it's got this curious little thing here that's a little piece of charcoal with some air holes. So the padding, there's absorbent material with a non-stick coating that has little slices in it that allow air up into a secondary layer. And then it comes out through this, and it's called the fart filter. And so that seemed like a really good answer. I could put that on my belly. But it's so stiff. This caused the worst rash I have suffered since I got the stoma ever in my life. I was wearing my wafers cut to just the paste in order to give the skin a break so it could heal. I had open weeping sores in this entire, everywhere where there's white paper, I had open weeping sores forming. And the itching, and it only took 24 hours. The itching was terrible. And the thing was, this is supposedly the most hypoallergenic product they've got. So that's why I've concluded that it must be the applied tension of trying to get it around a round object, because as you can see, it's a very stiff product. It was constantly pulling back up on the skin when it was curved around my belly. My belly's curved about yay much, about like that. It's not, it's not tight as a fist. It's more like a B-cup breast, frankly. And it's just enough curve that all of this has been a real challenge. They couldn't choose very many locations for the stoma either. There was only one place it could go, and that was at the point of this curve, like a nipple. And it's been giving me grief because of it. This curious piece of equipment is a stoma guard. You're supposed to clip it on with a belt and wear it over top of your appliance, and then seat belts and stuff won't compress it so that the output can continue coming. But the only thing I've ever found it useful for is to cover my stoma while I'm getting out of the bath. If I take the appliance off at the end of my bath so I can give the skin a break, then I'll put this on when I wrap my towel so that my towel doesn't get any mucus on it, because it's never clean. You can make it be clean, but because it's a mucous membrane, it defies you as quickly as it can. And so there will always be a little bit of this icky stuff. So that's my stoma box. Anything else in here? Oh, This is one of the products they sold me. It's a skin barrier. It's a spray you spray on your skin that provides a barrier. It doesn't do anything that I can tell. Sting-free skin barrier. It's supposed to be protect you from allergens. That's another reason why I think it's not chemical. I think it's mechanical. My problem. Oh, and I have a digital thermometer for aquarium. So that you see, the water when you infuse it must be at a certain temperature within a very few degrees of variance. It needs to be as close to slightly warmer than body temperature. And then I have learned that it needs to be slightly warmer than that, because while I'm getting ready, the water in the bag will cool. I don't get everything ready and then go fill the bag. I fill the bag first. And then I go about setting up my sleeve and setting up setting myself up with my stool in front of me. And right now, while the bathroom is still in disarray, I've had to use a bucket to fill a bucket with water. And we have an on-demand water heater that I can set the dial. So I've been using that. But when I'm camping, I will not have that. I will have to use a kettle on the stove. And I did, in fact, experiment with hot water, cold water, hot water, cold water. And this digital thermometer, just to mix to the perfect temperature. I did that this summer, and I was quite successful. It totally works. So I've got a digital thermometer in my kit. What else do I have? I have this powder that's designed for putting your stoma on over weeping sores, because open sores under your appliance is a really common problem. I haven't had it as often as some people, and I just, my heart breaks for them. But you're supposed to put this, it's supposed to pack in where like when a sore is open, it's wet with what they call lymph. It's the plasma in the blood, and this is supposed to pack that and cover it so that it fills the wound. It allows you to put stoma appliance on top. Oh, and I had this 3D thing I printed. This was to try and stop bursting. I had so much trouble with leakage in the first couple, till I started irrigating. It was constant. And this was supposed to try and help that. I would put the bag, I would fit the bag through here and then put this up against, and it would add to the pressure. I could just belt it on. But this was out by just a millimeter. And I never had the heart to make another one, and I 3D printed it. Yeah, this is a 3D printed item that is just a millimeter short of what it needs to be in the ring. And I'm like, it was awkward and it was uncomfortable, and it started to bend to the shape of my belly, which, because the warmth of my belly made the plastic less rigid, and so it started to shape itself to my belly, which was not putting the right amount of pressure on it. So that wasn't a very good idea. This is the current stoma cap that I used once and washed out and dried out and then put back in here. And I could put this on for a bath. I don't think I would use it to go swimming, but I can use it for a bath. And is there anything else? Sorted on these clips, more bulldog clips. Gotta have your bulldog clips. That's it. That's my stoma care box. Everything that I use to manage my disability. And it's an official disability. It's officially considered a disability by the Saskatchewan government. And I've always been disabled. It's the first time I've ever been officially disabled. My autism was never, although I have a formal diagnosis, it was never considered bad enough to count as disabled because I was physically fit. Because disability required either a profound intellectual inability or a physical inability, and nobody considered that social inability is a type of disability. We're starting to understand that better now, that people who are socially disabled are disabled, that it is a handicap when you cannot navigate social situations well enough to ingratiate yourself with the people who have the jobs, the resources, the promotions, the invites to parties. You get worse with time, in fact, because you don't get the practice you need to even maintain what level of social skill you might have acquired in school. Come here, Timmy. Say hi to the peoples. Say goodbye to the peoples, because we're hanging up. We're going to end the stream. Looking up at the camera. Look up at the camera. Oh, there's that face. Little triangle face. Bye.